Text. Did I say text? I meant test. Shabbat shalom. I love text. Text is way more interesting than any test.
Lay la la lay la la lay la. Lay la la lay ya la lay lay lay. Ya la la lay ya la lay lay. Ya la 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 lay ya la la lay. Ya la la lay ya la lay lay. Lay la la lay ya la lay lay lay. Ya la la lay ya la lay lay. Ya la 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 lay ya la la lay. Ya la la lay ya lay la lay. Ya la la lay ya lay la lay. Ya la la lay 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 la lay. Ya lay ya la lay ya lay. Ya la la lay ya lay la lay. Ya la la lay 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 la lay. Ya la la lay 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 la lay. Ya lay ya la lay ya lay. Ya la la lay ya la lay lay. Lay la la lay ya la lay lay lay. Ya la la lay ya la lay lay. Ya la 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 lay ya la la lay. Ya la la lay ya la lay lay. Ay la la lay ya la lay lay lay. Ya la la lay ya la lay lay. Ya la 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 lay ya la lay lay. Ya la la lay 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 la lay. Ya la la lay 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 la lay. Ya la la lay 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 la lay. Ya la ya la lay ya lay. Ya la la lay 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 la lay. Ya la la lay 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 la lay. Ya la la lay 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 la lay. Ya lay ya la lay ya lay.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to congregants, to friends, to guests, everyone joining us here in the sanctuary and everyone joining us in the live stream as we gather together to celebrate Shabbat. We welcome to our Bima from our board, Marcia Weinraub, who joins us in partnership. So wonderful to have you, Marcia. And let's ensure that we are praying together as one community tonight. Please take a moment, turn around, find someone new to greet, and wish them a Shabbat Shalom.
Very good rhythm section. Yeah, that was cool. Madison sounds great. Jim Riddle sounds great. Yeah, dude. Yeah, is he in New York? Yeah, dude is killing it. Yeah, I'm surprised because he's really excellent. Sounds great. Yeah, Madison's always fun.
Shabbat Shalom. Last week we had Holly Lentz Kleeman on our Bima. This week we get Andrew Kleeman. That's right, Mount Vernon Street. Yeah, seriously, well represented. To lead us in our Shabbat blessings, beginning first with our candle lighting on page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו, וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
And the Kiddush can be found on page 5.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם פורה פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצבנו ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים. ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים.
L'chaim. Good vintage grape juice. We are so thrilled to have Cantor Hyman back after a couple of weeks at camp. I got to be at camp during the first 2 weeks at URJ Camp Harlem. Cantor Hyman got to have the last 2 weeks, so we kind of bookended it. And I'm a little jealous because the very end of camp, you get Maccabia. People know what Maccabia is. Some of you maybe didn't go to Jewish summer camp, might know it as color war. I like Maccabia more, right? Yeah, how was it? Pretty fun?
It was very intense, and very exciting. And somebody from the winning team wrote the song. I believe it was their cheer.
Yeah.
The award-winning cheer for Blue Team.
Oh,
Somebody might have written
maybe a
that.
Lipkin-Mater child.
Moshe might have written something.
I think I heard that.
Yeah, I have the words upstairs. You can see
He
it
mentioned that to me, but really what he was talking about most was the fact that you got one of those coveted cheers for yourself. There are a few iconic leaders in camp, mostly just people like the director, who get a cheer from the campers.
Cantor Hyman got one, huh?
I
We'll have
heard
to
it
learn
was
at some point.
happy and glad we all love Cantor Brad.
That's amazing. That is not where I was going at all, but I love it.
I know.
We
Well,
do
Rabbi,
all love.
Rabbi Friedman, you and I have never gotten a cheer there.
I know,
of our
right?
Own.
Seriously, you deserve it. So besides the cheers, so there's 4 colors, and I actually just realized that I think perhaps the colors at camp were chosen because they're mentioned in the Zohar, our Jewish book of mysticism. And the Jewish mystical teachings in Zohar says there's 4 colors that relate to the seasons. They say fall is blue, kahol, winter is white, lavan, spring is green, yarok. These are some of the colors at camp, I think, right, for color war? No?
Some of them.
Maybe, all right. And then the last one, summer, and I really think about this right now as we near sort of towards the end of summer, is red. Summer is red as we think of that earth, that red earth. It's red as we think about the fruits. We have a community garden. My kids have been out picking. The grapes are just ripening in our garden, the red grapes. They come in with red stained fingers. I love it. Juicy red plums are in season right now. Rabbi Jill Hammer talks about this red of the deep summer and says, red is a messy color. It invites us to get messy as we investigate life at its fullest. This Shabbat, one of our last Shabbats, as we still taste that redness of summer, I invite us to embrace that messiness at the end of summer, to invite us, as Rabbi Hammer does, to investigate life at its fullest. And so we take a deep breath and release, turning from the noise of the week to the quiet of Shabbat, which allows us those moments of introspection. We join together on page 331 in the words of Shir Hamalot.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, U'mevorach, Shabbat Shalom, U'mevorach, Shir Hamalot, V'shuv Adonai, Et Shivat Zion, Hayinu Kechomi, Az Yemales Chok Binu, Ushonenu Rina, Az Yomru V'Goyim, Igdil Adonai La'asoti Meile, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
With the joy that comes with parents sending their children back to school, we continue with Lecha Dodi on pages 20 and 21, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
Lecha Dodi, Likerat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Havela, Lecha Dodi, Likerat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Havela, Shamor v'Zachor b'dibur echad, Yishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet ve'letechila, Lecha Dodi, Likerat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Havela, Lecha Dodi, Likerat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Havela, Likrat Shabbat, Lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor ha'beracha, Meirosh mikedem nesucha, Zot ma'aseh b'machashavat tchila, Lecha Dodi, Likerat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Havela, Lecha Dodi, Likerat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Havela, Hit'oreri, Ki ba'orech kumi ori, Uri, Shir daberi, Kevod Adonai, Alayich nigla, Lecha Dodi, Likerat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Havela, Lecha Dodi, Likerat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Havela.
Please rise.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
O God, you are as near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthest most star. We continue with the Baruch Hu on page 28.
Lai 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 la lai lai la lai la lai 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 la lai lai la lai la lai 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 la lai 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Lai 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 lai.
On the top of page 31, we read together, "Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Hama'ariv Aravim." Page 32.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו למדת. אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו למדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ובת עולם. בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו למדת. When we lie down and when we rise up, this This joy will last forever. When we lie down and when we rise up, this joy will last forever, forever. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu l'madata. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated, page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Emet. On page 39, in the middle of the page, we read responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Page 40.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, Torah tehilot oseh pele, Torah tehilot oseh pele. מלכותך ובניך, בוקע הים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Spread over us a shelter of your peace. for life and for peace, now and forever. Page 5 in your service program.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom Ve'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim L'chaim. Shelter us with your peace, and let all of our worries release, all of us beneath your wings. Guard our hearts, protect our souls, let us rise up completed and whole, all of us beneath your wings. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom Ve'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim L'chaim. Shelter us with your peace, and let all of our worries release, all of us beneath your wings. Guard our hearts, protect our souls, let us rise up completed and whole, all of us beneath your wings. Frost Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha L'chaim u'le'shalom Be'ata ve'ad olam. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom L'chaim, l'chaim. Shelter us with your peace, and let all of our worries release, all of us beneath your wings. Guard our hearts, protect our souls, let us rise up completed and whole, all of us beneath your wings.
Continue with our tefillah on pages 46 and following. Please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi hagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avoteinu ve'Imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל, אתה רב להושיע, מורין הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו משני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. This week's Torah portion, Akev, contains a wonderful line in it which mentions the famous 7 species of the land of Israel. These are the 7 agricultural products that are native to Israel. By the way, I recently learned that sabra, a name for an Israeli, it's the prickly pear, is actually not native to Israel. It's native to Mexico, was brought over there, and then they got really into it. Now it's like their favorite fruit. But the native ones to Israel we read about in this week's portion. And just once again, our Torah turns our hearts to the east and makes us think of Israel. We are praying, I think especially, I'm thinking this time as we are harvesting, I'm thinking of the north of Israel, where some of my own family has been evacuated and have been not in their homes for almost a year now, and all the produce that is ripening and falling from the trees without anyone to pick it. I'm also thinking still of those hostages in Gaza and praying for their return speedily and soon. And as human beings who have the capacity to hold so much in our hearts, we are praying and thinking of the people of Gaza for the unbearable suffering that they continue to endure. There's a beautiful prayer written recently by 2 female clerics, Sheikha Ibtasam Mohammed, who is an Israeli Arab who lives in the north of Israel, and Rabbi Tamar Elad Applebaum, who also an Israeli who works for the Shalom Hartman Institute, an amazing think tank of who we are going to have Yehuda Kurtzer in next month. They wrote this prayer of mothers for life and peace. For you did not create us to kill each other, nor to live in fear, anger, or hatred in your world, but rather you have created us so we might grant permission to one another to sanctify your name of life, your name of peace in this world. Amen. Take moments now for silent prayer.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable before you, Adonai, my rock, my redeemer. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
In a moment, we'll be on page 253 for the Misha Beirach, our prayer for healing. This week's Torah portion, and really the entire book of Deuteronomy, which we are immersed in now for the next, 5-6 weeks or so, has some very difficult conditional language in it. Im shamoa tishmo, if you follow the laws of God, all these wonderful things will happen. And if you don't, all of these horrible things will happen. Sadly, of course, we know life doesn't work that way. And to quote the title of the famous book by Rabbi Harold Kushner, bad things do happen to good people. He actually calls the book When Bad Things Happen to Good People, because it's going to happen. And when as opposed to why, because none of us really have a very good answer. But Kushner reminds us that we can't pray for miracles because that doesn't work that way. But we can pray for strength, for the will to keep going. And those prayers are answered. If you are holding someone in your heart tonight in need of healing, mind, body, or spirit, I invite you to write those names in the chat or speak their names aloud at this time.
Misha Beirach Avotenu Abraham Yitzchak Ve'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel ולאה, הוא יברך וירפא את החולים. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך וירפא את החולים. Refanala, Elna Refanala, Elna Refanala, Elna Refanala, Misha Beirach Avotenu Abraham, Yitzchak ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך וירפא את החולים.
We turn our thoughts to all of the blessings, all of the simchas, the special occasions in our lives, worthy of blessing. Now, for many of us, many of you I'm seeing in the congregation tonight, I think for a lot of people it is that time of year when we are moving into a school season from a summer session or a summer routine. And so for all of you who are students and teachers, this seems to me a particular time of transition. Some would argue really all of our lives are transition. We're always in limbo. We're always moving from one thing to the next. But I think it can be pronounced in certain seasons. And so here we are at the end of August, I believe is Monday for those of you in, in the school district of Philadelphia. And maybe a week later for those of you who have to wait a little longer. Oh, we're with you, dude. We have your back. It's coming. It's almost there. And then maybe some of you are headed to campus. That already happens for a bunch, but a few more are headed to campus. A little later, a few more teaching. Other transitions, other new things that we should keep in mind for our Shehechianu. What else, David? What's that? Birthday? Oh, you're turning 70. Mazel tov. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Freddie.
My husband, Craig, and I this week celebrated 32.
Mazel tov on 32 years to Fred and Craig. Beautiful. Beautiful. Who else? Did I miss anything? Lots of students. Raise your hand if you're one of those students going back to school in the next couple weeks. Yes. Wonderful. We send you with strength. And we believe in you and your capacity to learn new things and grow in new ways. Who here is going to be teaching those students in the next few weeks? Yes. I see Jennifer James in the back because Berkeley Merkaz Limud is just a few weeks out from opening, but lots of different teachers, including us, in the house. Wonderful, wonderful. Any other transitions? Any other simchas? Yes, Linda. We are starting to think about the High Holy Days. I'm so glad you think that that's a simcha. That's wonderful news. But what for you is simcha about that? What's the feeling that you're thinking about? It's a holy time, and you look forward to, you anticipate it. I'll say one of the aspects is this sacred space does tend to fill up more and more during those High Holy Day services, and it's a wonderful feeling of reunion when the whole family's in the house. Good. Muriel?
So in the same vein, I'm excited that we'll be starting the choir rehearsal on Tuesday.
And choir rehearsal starts on Tuesday for all of those of you who sing in those High Holy Day services. And I think, it is you who are most spiritually prepared for the High Holy Days because you've been in that liturgy for all of those weeks so deeply. We look forward to your leadership. Did I miss anybody? Who did I miss?
We got a really big one.
Oh, we have a big one.
We got one more.
Yes.
And we got a new Jew. And so it's my honor now to invite the congregation to please rise as we welcome Maggie Sugarman to join me at the open ark. Maggie is joined by a big crew, actually. The entire Sugarman and Mead clan is there, both her family of origin as well as her in-laws, and so many. And to see you all here to support her is just so wonderful. Come on, right up here. Yeah, right here. Here, you go on that side. It doesn't really matter. You can be on this side. Perfect. I'm just used to it that way, but there's no reason why. Maggie was a wonderful student of Judaism in our Introduction to Judaism class this past year, and we are so excited tonight to honor that conversion that took place, I think, a couple weeks ago now. Exactly. And I'll say, I love your hair tonight, and the reason I say that is only because, and I don't always talk about people's appearances, but the symbol of the rainbow is just so perfect because people might not know this, but the original rainbow was actually a sign of covenant between God and the people after, God and all of humanity, after the flood. And that is where the rainbow comes from, and that symbol of being in covenant and partnership. And that's actually what we are marking now as well, as you have voluntarily entered the covenant between God and the Jewish people, that covenant that has existed all the way since Sinai. And you are the next link in that chain of tradition, Maggie. And so you stand before the ark and before the commanding presence of the Torah, the Jewish people's most cherished treasure. It's led us on our way and guided us ever since we received it at Sinai. It's been carried during our times of greatest rejoicing. As I place the Torah in your arms, take it into your heart, and I pray that it will sustain you as it has our people since our beginnings. No, it's not too bad. Does it feel okay? All right. You are known by the name Maggie, which means you're always linked in love to those who gave you life. And from this time forth, you shall also be known within the Jewish community as Margalit Ruth, Bat Avraham Vasara. This beautiful name, Margalit, similar to your English name, and you wanted to honor that and honor your parents who are here, who've been so supportive on this journey. And it's a pearl, right? A precious gem, a pearl in Hebrew. And Ruth, of course, Ruth, the first convert in our Jewish tradition. And your grandmother, Ben's grandmother is Ruth. Thank you for that. No, that's good. No, of course, and remember. Perfect, I love it. May this name bring honor and respect to the Jewish people. We rejoice to welcome into our midst one who willingly and devotedly joins our people. As we have done through the ages, I ask God's blessing upon you now. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the light of God's presence shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's presence be with you always and grant you peace. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. Amen. Mazel tov. For this blessing and all the blessings in our community, we join together in gratitude.
Baruch
Good job, I got it. Perfect.
Adonai Eloheinu melech
Yeah, go sit back down. Mazel tov.
Shehecheyanu v'kiyimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech
She's a nurse
haolam.
Works in the ER.
Shehecheyanu v'kiyimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
All right, we can go sit down and we'll go listen to Brad. Oh.
Yes, I was at summer camp, and I like to talk about it. And what differs this from any other time that I've spoken about summer camp is what struck me so clearly this summer, more so than maybe other summers, was the intentional effort and success of creating holy community that exists at a summer camp. Why not? We create holy communities whenever we can, certainly here, certainly other places that could be considered holy because we set it apart, we make it special. We take the time to appreciate it and we keep it safe. All of those things. Spending moments away from my main congregational responsibilities always leaves me with a little dash of trepidation. And in the spirit of healthy acceptance towards my shortcomings, I recognize that my fear stems from my own inflated sense of where I fit in and how my presence contributes to the success of a task. We should all practice some kind of humility upon realizing that life simply continues moving forward, with or without us. While I was serving as faculty for the Holy Community of URJ Camp Harlem, I learned quite a bit about how every person is a valued part of a living group, responsible for health, security, and even building up the shared values that we were all emphasizing throughout the summer. It was important to soak in the beauty of how this both came to be and how it made everyone feel. In my desire to be impactful, I learned that our individual legacies are much closer dependent on the overall success of the people that we work and live with. When our community and our quality of life increases, this is where we are most able to recognize the contributions of many sets of hands and trace them to their hearts, which guide them. How you wake up in the morning at camp may have more to do with who your floor mates are, as I shared a wall with 3 small children, all under the age of 7. I was often awake without the need to set my alarm. My colleague, who had traveled to camp with her 3 boys, added to my level of joy and also gave me the opportunity to help smooth out the many transitional moments at camp where we move from one space to another, and often with little time to spare. Even though it was not my direct responsibility to care for them, they became an important part of my morning and my intentional routine before going out to our morning meetings. We would sing together, share what was discovered in nature and story, and we would slowly develop a relationship. Now, part of this was selfish, as I knew they were having a harder time going to bed at night in unfamiliar surroundings and knowing more about who was directly around them if they needed help at night, I am sure, gave them some comfort. But part of this was out of a higher sense of obligation to our communal living experience as a faculty team and my own deeply wired belief in truly knowing my neighbors. I try to apply this devotion to my East Kensington neighbors, but it is different as they don't all join me for mealtime to impulsively climb over me like a jungle gym when they are distracted. My faculty family for those 2 weeks included my help with whatever they might need, and I welcome that kind of interaction. Simultaneously happening in bunks all over camp, many campers awaken in a bunk with many other roommates. These are folks who have all of the same biological needs at the very same moment, who awaken to the daily task of determining what to wear, who must diligently make their beds, sweep their floors, clean their sinks, and even take out the trash to their proper communal receptacles. You know, things they would never do without being asked at home. They also listen carefully to every sound at night on high alert, and who reports back to each other upon discovering the music of bullfrogs cavorting or sentry owls calling out to each other. They share intentional moments all over camp where Jewish values are shared and even worn on their arms in rainbow-colored gummy bracelets. They learn about Shomrei Adamah, or caring for our earth, and Bitachon Atzmi, or caring for themselves. They push through adversity with their sense of nitzachon, or onward to life's many victories. And they also celebrate achrayut and the beauty found when they care for others. There is too much more to summarize adequately, but understand that a great deal of everyday moments are underscored with these midot, or values. And it truly means something to each person. This is precisely how communities cease to be living together out of necessity and become truly living together with intentionality. When we put value into our interactions, there is nothing perfunctory about it. It is immediately elevated, and it has the potential of becoming expected and even traditional. This is where holiness can creep in and even take root. There are some traditions at a summer camp that are not always desired, but are a consequence of their success. One of these being the grouping of songs used for song session, specifically on Friday nights. Because I have the benefit of understanding more than 30 years of camp history and past song leaders who have served camp, I can see their hands all over the current song session. I know which years particular runs were added, and I even trace my own musical appreciation of some of the original artists to the song leader who first exposed me to that kind of music. That is a delicate thing to balance and coordinate if you are the song leader responsible for setting the order. It surely feels like a cantor determining if a beloved song will appear in a Shabbat lineup, or if this is the week that there will be a change in the rotation. It is also an opportunity to appreciate the intentional inclusion of older Israeli songs that would otherwise never have been heard or appreciated by American youth, and it gives them a chance to be appreciated into the future. Respecting the history of a place is the true power of a song leader's legacy, and perhaps maybe even a good cantor. One of the gifts that camps give all of our children is the ability to come to terms with how they feel or how they express love. Even the oldest of campers or staff or even their faculty can openly weep tears of joy from being together in prayer and song. It's not weird. It's not discouraged to have strong feelings. And camp actually gives our children some important tools towards walking with our emotions rather than pushing them down or way far away. The realization that words and music and the singing of some songs are holy, and that they are the holy vessels who bring these songs out to share with the community, is palpable, even if not able to be vocalized. It is sometimes the added hand moves or choreography added to enhance some prayers. But I believe it has more to do with the reality that everyone feels invited to participate, and in following through, they're more a part of the experience and invested in the holy conversation. There are other places on camp that practice holiness and establish holy space through the ways that they care. The mirpa'ah, or clinic, is a tireless and often underappreciated place where holiness exists through the act of offering that path towards healing. Our congregant Sarah Cohen serves as one of the camp nurses, caring for everything you can imagine children would contract in the wilderness after not being in the wilderness for 10 months. For many, existing at camp includes the greatest possible chance of sharing some of the many ailments in such an insular space. You may get pink eye, but more likely than the regular, you'll probably get because of the regular sudden changes in humidity and temperature, you're going to get respiratory issues, which most people just lovingly refer to as camp crud. If that progresses, you may find yourself with a low-grade fever and a night spent in the mirpa'ah. One day, while facilitating tutoring for B'nai Mitzvah, I observed an entire bunk run down the hill from their cabin to just about where the mirpa'ah stood to cheer and welcome a bunkmate back into the bunk. This is precisely what happened when our ancient Israelites, when they returned from their stay in small cities of healing. Today, we refer to those places as hospitals. But the idea that a whole bunk is prepared to lovingly welcome a member back to health is moving, because on some level, they acknowledge that the loss of even one member of their unit affects the whole bunk. Finally, the celebration of Shabbat at camp is incredibly intentional in its observance and the way that they establish Shabbat traditions. In some camps, there's a physical display besides that of everyone being freshly showered, but also entirely dressed in white. Now, keeping anything white all week at camp is a whole different kind of Shabbat miracle. But the expectation to actively set things apart, that is an expression of holiness. The entire camp gathers for services prior to dinner, mostly led by campers. During services, precisely at the blessing of Hashkivenu, counselors hold a large communal talit over their bunks, just like a Sukkot Shalom, or a shelter of peace. Even as they make their way from services to the dining hall, there is intentionality in the way that they approach the tables. Tables have coverings, small touches such as flowers or decorations are present. The foods that are not regularly available are set with pride. The rituals traditionally meant for the home, such as candles and kiddush, are recited at their tables. And in this way, they are connected to generations prior who extend the experience into their homes in a mindful way. The most striking and powerful moment this year at camp was at the very end of Shabbat as we extinguished the Havdalah candle and officially separated the holiness of Shabbat from the entirety of the week. It was not different than any other week at camp, other than instead of going into a regular week of camp, they were knowingly headed back to their last night with each other in this community, and were traveling to many different parts of the country and even the world. But instead of going back to cabins to continue packing, they continue to honor beloved staff who have been present for market time. And finally, they recited the bedtime Shema as well as Hashkivenu, as they do every night. The main takeaway is that even in a desire to actively move from holiness to secular, they found and celebrated another moment within that special community that is both pure and holy. It is the same with Shabbat, as we should celebrate so fully that we are reluctant to simply give it up for the sake of a new week. The special part of our souls, the Shekhinah, which only comes around on Shabbat, is what we were taught officially completes us. Now, I am back. I am filled with completeness once again with all of you. And I will hold on to that like the special gift that it is for the fullness of this Shabbat. So I wish for all of you to know the fullness of being in this holy community, and that you will keep it safe until Shabbat returns once again next week. So Shabbat Shalom and special blessings of strength to all of our families returning to that year of scheduling, and of course, to the S word, school.
We had one or some of your Camp Harlem students in the congregation.
Caleb's over there.
Hey, Caleb.
For sure.
Well, amen. May we all find ways to discover holiness in and to bring holiness to our community as well. We're continuing in our prayer books on page 282 and then page 287 with Aleinu. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שהוא נוטש שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. These are words of the World War II resistance fighter Hannah Senesh. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we've loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. This week, our congregation observes yahrzeit for the following people on whose shoulders we stand: Eleanor Ruth Asher, Nathan Axler, Jean Baruch, Max C. Balinson, Joel Becker, Harry G. Beneman, Flora Berkowitz, Leonard Kaust, Emily R. Chernikoff, J. Stanley Cohen, Marvin Ellenbogen, Laura Epstein, Sylvia Fair, David Feld, Isaac Matzel Garfield, David Greel Gersley, Edward Glassman, Isidore Edward Gordon, Milton E. Gundersheimer, Fanny Hassler, Virginius A. Herman, Louise S. Herzberg, Leonore Himmelstein, Margaret G. Jacobs, Jacob Kalish, Samuel S. Kalisher, Theodore H. Kapnick Sr., Theodore J. Cotters, Ronald Kelly, Ida Cohn-Kind, Simon Kirschbaum, Helene Stauman-Kleinman, Horace Cohn, Karen Crum, Alan Joseph Lauber, Hetty H. Miller, Molly Seidman Robb, Irving W. Robb, Ruth Rappaport, Eva Sklar Rosentor, Cy Salkowitz, Bernard Schachman, Amelia Schnitzer, Stephen M. Cedar, Natalie Silverstein, Louis Silverman, Ethel M. Simon, David Singer, Sylvia Sledger, Isolda Solo, Elaine Sperling, Shirley L. Spiegel, Sophie Steigman, Bayard C. Stone, Jacob M. Teller, Alexander L. Vogelson, Florette Bauer Weinberg, David A. Weiss, Sylvia Weiss, Henry M. Wexelblatt, Flossie Willis, Goldina Wolf, Robert Wolf. We add the names of those who have been taken from our midst, but not from our hearts, in these most recent days, for whom we observe Shloshim. Sonia C. Garfinkel, Tom Goldblum, Mary Kostianowski, Howard M. Megan, Laureen Miller, Helen Daniel Stam. And if you are observing yahrzeit or shloshim for a loved one whose name was not called, please feel free to call it out now. Together we honor their memories as, turning to page 294, we rise for the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'amad divarach erutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, b'gala uv'izman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevarach le'alam olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal, shemei t'kudashah b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim alinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring comfort to the bereaved and peace to each of you. And together we say, Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen.
It is my pleasure to welcome Marcia Weinrab, representing our Board of Advisors.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you to everyone who participated in the email pass process this evening, helping us to prepare for the use of email passes during the high holy days. If you are new to Road of Shalom, a special welcome to you. Please meet our congregant, Heshi Zinman. Oh, no, Jordan Marsh. I can't see that far. Oh, hi, Jordan. It's the lights. Yes, Jordan Marsh, who's waving to me and to all of you at the back of the sanctuary to learn more following the service. Again, welcome and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. I'm sorry. You adjust well. I think we gave you the wrong notes. We will also will welcome our Berkman Merkaz Limud families who are here for Oneg Shabbat to meet us in the community room across the hall just following services. For these closing words from Rabbi Karen Kadar, she wrote, "Believe that the universe speaks to you, and you will be privy to endless chatter. Believe that God leaves you secret messages to uncover, and your life becomes an endless treasure hunt. If you believe that this is nonsense, then you will encounter a world that is mute and devoid of guidance. Messages from God are everywhere. Listen, watch, get it on a whisper. God is leading you down gentle paths."
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav eilecha v'chuneka. Yisa Adonai panav eilecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav eilecha v'chuneka. Yisa Adonai panav eilecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha,
May God bless us and keep us.
Ya'er Adonai panav eilecha v'chuneka.
May the light of God's Spirit shine upon us and through us.
Yisa Adonai panav eilecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God's presence be with us and bring us peace. Kei Nihi Ratzon, may this be God's will. Shabbat Shalom.